All right, so we are just 2 weeks away, even less than that, from our meeting in Atlanta. And as you're preparing and packing your bags, we wanted to offer a little orientation here. And so here with me, we have Dr. Leilani Balmanis, so the program director. So then we have also our wonderful Tim Muth and Karen Linden. So Tim is your boss when it comes to relationships with companies. So anything related to YKK, as well as presentations and all kinds of things. So Tim is the man. And so, and Karen is more preoccupied with professors. And so she's offering a whole training program for the faculty and professors. So, but obviously is very heavily involved in everything X-Culture. And by now you probably know that she's also managing the coaching program. So, so that's also. And we also have here Srishti with us, so who's been helping us managing the logistics, the webinars, the scheduling, the videos, all kinds of things. And so she's helping also basically with, operations management, COO. What is it? Chief Operations Manager, I think, right? So something like that. And so I think I'll turn the microphone now to Leilani, so for chaperoning this meeting.
Okay, so good afternoon, everybody in the Miami area. So we are in Eastern Standard Time. I think all of us are in Eastern Standard Time. So wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Actually, can you put in the comments, where are you in the world? Maybe with your local time. I'm just always curious what countries we have represented. I know we expect about 25 countries represented in the whole group, but it'd be interesting to know who's here. I see we have about 2,000 people. So in the comments, put your location and the local time.
And so this orientation is, Rafael, hi Rafael. This orientation is really to get you ready for AIB Southeast X-Culture Atlanta 2023. Now, many of you guys have never been to the United States, and we want to tell you that Atlanta, or what they call in the South as Hotlanta, although it's not hot right now, it's a very large city. So, of course, the things that come with a very large city, traffic jams. It's not quite as bad as Rome, but it's very busy. Also, it's one of the largest airports in the United States, and it is the hub for Delta Airlines, and it's an international hub. So anything that's going out of the southeastern United States is probably coming out of Atlanta. It's not quite as big, or well, it probably is quite as big as all of the big, Miami, LAX, New York. So I want you to expect to arrive and depart for an airport that is very congested. So traveling there is going to take you time, and in getting through security is going to take you time. I was just talking to colleagues. I actually flew out of Atlanta just this weekend, and I had global entry TSA pre-check. And it took me almost 3 hours to get from the door of the airport to my gate, almost 3 hours. So
with global entry?
With global entry TSA pre-check. So please prepare accordingly. You are going to go through some challenging entry and exit points at this airport. Okay. So I also wanted to prepare you guys in terms of what you want to wear. Now, as program chair, we pride, X-Culture does, we pride ourselves in representing. And every year, AIB Southeast, you guys do such a great job, especially the Italian students. The Italian students really know how to dress. And by the way, there's a bunch of Italian students, so everybody's got to come up, okay? The first day, on Thursday, we are going to YKK, and it is required for you to have safe, closed-toed shoes, which for the girls is going to be a little bit of a challenge, because I know you guys want to wear your open-toe heels on the first one in that line. But for YKK, you do need to have closed-toed walking shoes, because we will be walking through factory floors, okay? And then, of course, on Friday and Saturday, you will need to be in professional dress. jackets and ties for gentlemen and suits for girls, or anything professional, as professional as you can get for girls. I know you guys are a little bit more flexible, but I would highly recommend that you match the boys with wearing at least a professional jacket. Okay. I actually wear a lot of business casual in South Florida because, it's Miami and it's very hot. But when I go to AIB Southeast, I bring all my suits because I want you guys to represent and I want me to set the example. Okay. Dr. Terraz, we have to twist his arm. So, yeah. So, I am going to go over the itinerary, but first I want to talk, I want to have, Professor Muth talk about, what to expect with the challenge, and we'll do the itinerary last because we can go through that quickly.
And just as a way so everybody knows, so we have people from Poland, Warsaw, Colombia, Italy, Calgary, Canada, Greensboro, Croatia, more Italy, Norway, so Wilmington, North Carolina, so Turkey. I may be missing a couple, Florida, Germany, so quite a few countries here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and just to let you guys know, there are only 50 seats in this conference. Yep. And when we selected, we were very, very particular in our selection process. So there are some students who applied, but were not selected only because,
we actually had over 400 applications this time. Admittedly, some students whom we wanted to have on the list couldn't get the visas and things like that. But yes, we had many, many more takers for the 50 spots than we had spots.
Mm-hmm. I believe we ended up with something like 54 registrants, and then 8 of them couldn't get visas.
Yeah, so yeah,
we're down to 46 now. Yeah,
had some dropouts due to the visa issue, as always with the United States. We have that problem.
Yeah. So Tim, you want to update them on where we are with the challenge and what they can expect?
I certainly do, and I'm looking forward to meeting everybody in 2 weeks. So first of all, YKK is so excited that you guys are working on this that I lied to them and told them you're really, 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 really smart. So don't let me down. But at the very high levels of the company, they have been working with Shrishti and I to write the challenge, have provided all sorts of information, which we've gotten to you guys. And just to hint again, their challenge was to make sure that you guys don't give them any zipper recommendations, that they're trying to take capabilities they've got to make zippers, but for other kind of industries, other kind of products. So they're quite confident they know that the zipper market in the US. But they're going to open their doors for you, as we mentioned, with a factory tour. In addition to what Dr. Leilani said, also make sure you bring ID with you. And if you bring your phone, you're going to have to leave it in the break room because they have a lot of machinery and other proprietary things they don't want people taking pictures of. So there's no problem bringing your phone on the bus, but we're going to have to leave it in a break room when we're down there. And make sure you ask a lot of questions. That's going to help you understand stuff that you read with what you're seeing down there. And all your recommendations are to save that factory, to create more jobs at that factory. That's the entire focus of it. Then on the following day, you make your first presentation, and we're going to have faculty from various universities. We'll be listening to your presentations, asking you questions, providing you some input that hopefully you have a chance to practice it when you get in on Wednesday or whenever. But if you haven't, this is going to be a good time. And it is a real presentation, so you should come dressed and fully prepared. However, on Saturday, we have 2 presidents of different YKK companies, and 2 vice presidents are going to be the judges. So you'll have 2 judges in your room when you present, and they are the ones that are going to make the final decision. So the Friday one, while it's a real presentation, is going to be a little bit of a dry run in the sense that you can change, modify, hopefully get better the next day. That's where you're going to see the real life clients. And these are the folks that are going to take your recommendations and do something with them. So that's what's got me excited here, that these folks are interested. They want to do something, looking for your ideas. And past X-Culture meetings, students have just come up with fantastic things. So we're looking for big things for you guys. And then the highlight of it, which we'll talk about later with the agenda, is when we name the winners on Saturday night. But between that, we're going to have a lot of fun. You get to meet a lot of new people, interact with them. And I'll go slightly off script, Leilani, but also as we mentioned about you guys are representing yourself, your schools, your countries, that we expect you to act professionally. That these are very professional people there. Many of you are getting either in the professional world or going to be there very soon when you graduate. And this is great practice for you to be around folks like that. And we can still have fun and be professional throughout the kind of days, the 3 days that we're there. Leilani, back to you.
Okay. So as we're doing this presentation, please go ahead and start posting your questions, because what we're going to do with the first part is we're going to fill you with the information that you need for the conference. And then in the second part, we'll do a Q&A session so that you, in case you have any uncertainties that you want to work through, this would be the time. Okay. Karen, do you have anything to add?
No, it sounds great. I think that the questions also will help, drive the conversation. For me, I'm thinking as a participant, I'm coming in pretty late the night before. And so I just want to be prepared that first day when we get started. And so with the itinerary, I think, the walkthrough of what it's going to feel like. That first day is going to feel pretty long with our visit and then a great social at another location. So I think, that would be great to maybe start us off there.
Yeah, we're gonna need to ask you guys to conjure up some resilience on Thursday, because it's going to be a very long day. We'll talk about that after Dr. Voss gives you fair warning about civility. We'll go play by play on the itinerary, and then we'll go to your questions and answers. Okay, Voss?
So I should be talking about civility now?
Yes.
Yes, very important, very important. We never really have that problem, except for a couple of instances when we did. And so I don't expect any problems from you guys. But again, we don't want any unpleasant situations. So be mindful that you represent not only yourselves, but also you represent your universities, your countries, and your behavior does reflect on all of those entities. And so I don't think I need to tell you that, no drinking, no drugs, no fighting, no abusive behaviors, nothing like that. And as I said, we didn't really have any problems with that, but we did have some situations, for example, when students were so excited or perhaps maybe so exhausted that they thought it would be a good idea to maybe go have a drink, late at night. And so you are adults, most of you, in fact, all of you are old, of age, of drinking age, in fact, in the United States, or at least most of you are, and some of you are in your 20s or maybe even 30s. And so who am I to tell you, that you cannot go out after a hard day of work and, have a drink? But at the same time, I strongly encourage you not to do it. So first, as I said, you don't want to waste your time on things that are not related to the task. You came such a long way, you might as well focus on the task. Second, if you behave inappropriately, not only you suffer, but also, that creates all kinds of problems for your team, and also, frankly, for me or for the leadership team. So I'll just give you an example of one, and we've had only one instance I think we organized, this will be our event number 15. And so that's the only time we had a problem in all these 15 events, multiply that by about 100 people on average. So that's, thousands of people by now. So we had a situation in one event where a student did get drunk and then got into some sort of a, altercation with a local. And the local was also apparently drunk, and the student was hurt. And so, everything's fine now. The student, apparently has fully recovered or is on the way to recovery. But, instead of focusing on the students and, delivering the program, we had to spend some time with the police, asking questions, the hospital. Not pleasant at all. So for the student himself, obviously, but also for everybody else. I suppose with, hundreds, thousands of people involved, something like that is bound to happen sooner or later. But again, you don't want to be that student. So I strongly encourage you to stay away from, as I said, alcohol, drugs, anything like that. And we never had any drugs or anything like that. I'm not even sure if I need to mention that. But be mindful. And likewise, don't go away too far too late, because again, you never know what you can encounter on streets. Atlanta is a safe city, no problem there, but you never know who could be there out late at night. Stay with your group, stay close to the campus, stay close to the activities and things like that. So I'm not sure if others want to add something. So Tim, I know you have also some very strong feelings about even slightest deviations from the sort of the norms. But yeah, it's one of those things that everybody sort of knows, but once in a while something happens and then you think, what were you thinking? Why would you? So I don't know, Tim, Leilani, Karen, do you want to say anything to that effect?
And do you have anything to add to that?
The only thing I would add is I view this as a business trip. And
Yeah.
some of you are in the business world now, some of you are not, but as Voss mentioned, you're there for a task, and that should be your focus. There's no reason you can't have fun. You're going to meet a lot of interesting people, and that's fine. But try to remember why you're going.
Yeah. One thing I will add, so one of the first meetings that we had was in Miami. And at that time, both in an attempt to sort of make it as developmental as possible for you, but also, to be frank, out of concern, that if we have 150 young people, and it was a summer event, so with more people. So if we have over 100 young people, sort of roaming streets on their own, they can get in all kinds of troubles. And so trying to give you a program, to make a program as enriching as possible, we booked something for every minute of the week. So it was from early in the morning till late at night, every day of that week that we were in Miami. And so the feedback was excellent for the program, but one concern one complaint we received was that, hey guys, I came all the way to Florida, to Miami from wherever I came from. And I could hear the ocean. It was very close, but you never allowed me to even go and, wash my feet in the ocean, so to speak. And so, next time when you do it, allow some free time. And so we took that we took that seriously. And so all subsequent events, we had a few evenings when you are on your own. Not to mention that we packed so much into that event in Miami that students didn't have time to prepare their work in teams. So there were seminars, meetings, presentations every hour. And so now we do allow you a little bit free time. So there will be not much free time in Atlanta because it's the fall event.
3 days.
3 days. So the one that is in the summer, the whole week. So there we give you a few evenings free. So here, I don't think you'll have much free time.
One. Yeah, one.
But there will be one evening,
night.
so specifically so you can maybe explore the city or hang out. But again, take that free time as a way to explore the city, its culture, its, architecture, and not, go to a restaurant and have a drink. You can have drinks anywhere you are. So therefore, yes, be nice. Another thing, as I said, we never had any sort of fights per se. So we never had any, tensions per se. But we did have, again, I'll actually share with you the details. Why not? So in fact, that bothers me still to this moment because I'm not sure, whose side I should be on, so to speak. But so in one of the previous events, we had a couple of students whose bags were stolen upon arrival. So they arrived in the city and they were so excited by the architecture that they started taking photos and that were not attending their bags. And so their bags were stolen. Luckily, it was nothing serious. So they had the passports and money and everything, cameras, phones, computers with them, but the check-in bags were stolen. And by the way, eventually found too. But, for a few days of the conference, they didn't have the bags. And so they had to spend the first evening in the police department, filing the report. And then there were a couple more meetings they had to have with the police, describing what was in the bags and, things like that. So the usual things. But they were not able to participate in the program full time, full scale, which is understandable in this case. But their teams were not happy with that. And so there was a lot of tension in the team. They were saying, well, I feel sorry for your lost bags, but you're not participating, so we're going to ostracize you. We're going to exclude you. And so there was a little, unpleasant situation where they literally started not quite shouting, but there was a moment when, one student was saying, I want to be out of this team because they don't like me. And the team was saying, we want her out. And, so not very professional in my opinion. So that was a special circumstance, happened only once, hopefully will never happen again. But again, be professional, be supportive. Most of you will be for the first time in the United States, maybe even for the first time overseas or away from home. So, don't get too competitive in a way or too, unprofessional, let's call it this way, because that's also part of your being, civil. You will be sharing rooms, or many of you will be sharing rooms, I assume. And again, sometimes your roommates may turn out to, I don't know, not as tidy or not maybe snoring or maybe, who knows? So yeah, it's part of the experience. And so, don't get, unprofessional in situations like that. Because again, if everything goes fine and you have the best possible experience, everybody in your team participates well, in a way, I'm happy for you, but at the same time, not very educational, because that probably will not happen again. You will always have someone who is too bossy or too shy or takes too many coffee breaks or too many smoke breaks, or and when that happens, that's how you learn. That's how you know what to expect next time. So therefore, take these things as learning opportunities as opposed to things to complain about.
Okay. So just to add, before we go through our play-by-play itinerary, just to add to what Dr. Voss is talking about, in our civility agreements, or actually the Excel spreadsheet that was pushed out to you by Rafael Tamashito and Shrishti, there's actually a recommendation that you purchase travel insurance. And that travel insurance will cover loss of your luggage or missing a flight or anything that could happen potentially to you from the time that you enter the United States and the time that you travel back to your country. So consider purchasing the travel insurance. And then also make sure that you know how to use your medical insurance. In the United States, if you get sick, and let's say it's a low level, you get a cold or something, you would have to go to a walk-in clinic, but then they would require you to use your medical insurance. And again, it depends on what country you're from, what kind of insurance you have. Just make sure you know how to use it, okay? Because in the United States, insurance is something that we all purchase. It's not like when you go to Europe that everybody is just covered blanket. It's not that way here in the United States. So make sure that you travel with your medical insurance ID card, and also consider purchasing the travel insurance. And again, the airport, if you're flying in and out of Atlanta, which I highly recommend because that's the one that that's the airport, just be prepared because it is a very big airport with very long lines, okay? Okay, so I'm going to share the itinerary, and then we'll go into a Q&A. So if you could all start posting your questions in either the chat or the question bar, and then that way we can get to it afterwards. Okay, so this is the first day. I'm actually, like I said, arriving Wednesday the 25th. I'm arriving very late. I believe Professor Linden is arriving very late with me. Shrishti and Professor Muth, you guys are arriving mid-afternoon as well, right?
About 6 o'clock. We get in the airport at 5. I think we'll be at the hotel by 6.
Okay, and Dr. Voss, you're going to be arriving very late as well on Wednesday night.
I arrive at 6 a.m. on the 26th, so I should be in the hotel by 7 a.m. or so.
Okay, so the only faculty that will be there on Wednesday night is Professor Tim Muth. And Shrishti, what time are you arriving?
We're on the same flights.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So on Thursday morning, you guys, after breakfast, we are going to open a registration table at the Spring Hill Suite Hotel. This is the hotel that the conference booked for groups. Hopefully you are also in that hotel, but if you're not in that hotel, hopefully you are in the vicinity of that hotel. You should be very close to this hotel, okay? Our registration and badge pickup will open at 8 a.m. But we are departing. You see here, ex-culture students must be on the bus by 9 a.m. for transport to the YKK Corporation. And I put here again, you must wear closed-toed shoes for the tour of the factory. I don't know how I can stress this enough. Be on the bus at 9 a.m. or we will leave you. And I hate to say it in a way that's very sad to me, but we will leave you if you are not on that bus by 9 o'clock, including you, Dr. Vos Terraz. Okay. And then,
Importantly, so since there will be always, well, not always, but occasionally there is someone who is a little late for whatever reason. So do we have there the address where people need to take the Uber if they miss the bus?
It's a pretty far trip, boss. It's gonna be very expensive to Uber.
yeah, it's a 2-hour trip.
Yeah. Well, I should be, on time with
Yeah,
good
we'll-
time
we'll-
to spare, but you never know.
Yeah. So on this bus is going to be your entire cohort and the leadership team, all of us, and Vice President of YKK, Jessica Cork. Okay. So again, we need you to be on time and professional while we're traveling. And she chose to be on this bus with you because this entire bus trip is going to be a conversation, a dialogue about your business challenge. Okay, it's going to be about an hour and 15, an hour and a half. With hot Atlanta traffic, it might be 1:45. So we never know.
And if I
Okay.
can just interject, Dr. B, as far as like, missing the bus type of thing, it's a lot like missing a plane. There's not a lot of alternate pathways. And then plus we are a large group. We're only approved for up to 60. And it has to go through security, like Dr. Muth mentioned, you have to have your ID. So we can't have 8 cars of 3 people coming in 20 minutes late type of thing. It's just, it happens or it doesn't happen. So take it from someone that was in like late for a lot of things in their 20s. Plan ahead and bring a granola bar. Do what you need to do to be on that bus by 9, because it'll be so super disappointing to not have you there for that entire experience. It's not like people can trickle in even with like the most amount of money that like I will pay to be there. It's not that kind of proposition.
Exactly. So we blocked from 8 a.m. in the morning, which is when you're going to be registering, 9 o'clock till about 11 o'clock to arrive at the YKK Corporation. Then we're going to tour the facilities, have lunch, and meet with some of their leadership, and then leave the facility around what time, Tim?
Probably between 2 and 3.
Between 2 and 3, so that we can return back. Now, if you take a look at the next one on Thursday at 5 o'clock, we will be hosted by Georgia Tech for our welcome reception. And it is going to be in this location, the Scheller College of the Business Courtyard. And we are going to be talking about what events will take place. Now, this is the Academy of International Business Southeast Conference. It is not just an ex-culture conference. You are welcome to join and attend the functions that AIB Southeast is also hosting, but we also have a full ex-culture program. So whenever you have an opportunity, make sure that you attend the AIB Southeast events. But this one particular one, the welcome reception, is mandatory for all of us. Okay. So we go to
Dr. B.
Yes.
Sorry, to back up, because this caught me off guard when we looked at the plans, I don't know, a week ago, is, oh, wait a minute, we're not going to go back to the hotel so I can change my shoes or brush my hair. So whatever you have on you at 8 o'clock in the morning is how you will come back to the hotel late at night. So there's no like refresher break or change of clothes break.
Yes. So that's what I was telling you in the beginning, right? It is going to be, I'm going to need to ask you to be resilient that day. In your professional life, you are going to be put in situations where you're going to be asked to do above and beyond. And this is one of those days. And it's all good stuff, right? Because not only are you going to get to see a global corporation meeting with their CEOs, vice presidents, and leadership, but this is like a very exclusive thing. In fact, you're going to have to sign a non-disclosure agreement when you arrive at YKK. It's a very, very unique experience. So that's why we want this for you. But then we also have to go to a party. We have to attend this reception.
They feed us.
Yeah, we have to twist your arm and bring you so that we can get food and dinner and, get to be privy to all the information that we will need for the conference. So yes, Professor Linden, bring your stuff. Now, if you do bring a little backpack, that's what I'm doing. I'm bringing a little bag with my shoes and with my touch-up makeup and with all of my documents. I'm going to leave that on the bus. And the guy that is our bus driver will make sure that nothing is touched, okay? So please bring what you need for that day on the bus with you. Yeah, does that answer your question? One thing, though, we are providing you a ride to YKK in Macon, Georgia, and then they are dropping us off at the Scheller College of Business at Georgia Tech, but you have to find your way back to the hotel. So it's either the MARTA, which is 2 train stops over, but I'm going to recommend, because this is how I'm going back, that you pool with all your friends and you spend the $10 split between the 10 of you guys or the 5 of you guys, $2, $3 a piece, and take an Uber to the hotel, because it's going to be, kind of late, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, you're going to be tired. Okay. And you want to make sure that, you get to the right hotel or the right location, especially if this is just your first day in the country. Okay.
Another quick rule, no traveling alone, always buddy system. Never leave anybody at a restaurant by themselves, at an event. Make sure you are collecting people along with you. It's always better together, but we definitely don't want you to be alone traveling through Ubers, trains, and, at a restaurant by yourself.
Right. There is strength in numbers, and, more hands make less work, and absolutely sharing cost is the most, it's even cheaper than, taking the bus or the train. So share an Uber. It will get you to the right location, and it will be cheaper than the train. Okay. So you go to bed. I don't know. We're going to finish with the party at 7. So you're going to have 7:30 till about 10 o'clock. Hopefully you go to sleep, and, you talk to your team about what you're going to do for your project, and you hopefully will get up and be up and at 'em at 8 o'clock in the morning. It says here badge pickup, but hopefully by then you will have your badge. But if you don't, there is a place for you. Now we're going to move the conference to Georgia State University, which is very close to our hotel. Okay, it is a walking distance. So you have an opportunity to register that morning. At 9 a.m., it's going to be the first presentation. Now, you will know this, hopefully, before you show up there, Dr. Muth, Professor Muth. How are they going to know when they're going to be presenting on Friday?
That's a darn good question. I'll make up a schedule next week and get it to them.
Okay. So you will have an itinerary previous to you arriving. And if you notice, we have 2 tracks at 9 a.m. and then 2 tracks at 10:30. And we did that because we want everybody to have ample time. The first set of presentations will be judged by faculty from ex-culture faculty, by the way, from all over the world. Okay, they'll be from Grenada, Poland, Europe, Asia, all of our friends, all of our faculty friends that probably were professors to some of your ex-culture teammates. So just keep that in mind, that you will have faculty on the first day, okay? Lunch is going to be at the same place. And by the way, if you take a look where it says here, the date, the location, right? The address and the profession, the dress of the day, which is professional. And then if you take a look at the sessions, so for example, this first session, which is the X Culture Team Presentation 1, for teams 1, 2, and 3, it tells you what room and which tower you're going to be at. Tim, they're already in teams. We've already picked it.
Okay.
Yeah?
I'll just double check to make sure I understand the team numbers versus what I've got. But okay.
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't think we have 12 teams. I think we only have 10
teams.
Okay, so this is going to shift a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll definitely confirm it next week, or they'll know Thursday when we're on the bus. So they'll know in advance.
And it is 10 teams, yes.
Yeah. Okay, and then we're going to have lunch, followed by on Friday afternoon. This is going to be the faculty panel session that Professor Linden is going to be chairing. A lot of these professors are all of your colleagues, professors from all over the world. So you're welcome to see this. Or if you want to do one of the AIB Southeast presentations, you're welcome to do that as well. This is mandatory, you guys. Friday, 2:45 to 4 p.m. This is going to be the Vice President, Jessica Cork, who's going to be talking about community engagement and corporate communications for YKK. This is mandatory. We want you to be there because this is a part of your pitch, right? The next day you have one more presentation. And
He's one of the judges.
Don't freak them out yet. Okay. And then also that day, Dr. Taraz, and I know you guys come to see him. We all know you come to see him. It is the only session that Dr. Taraz will be giving you, and he'll be talking about the future of the consulting industry and how X Culture fits into that picture. So again, here is your location and the time. Okay. So this is the only day where dinner is on your own. So you and your friends should really make plans to make sure that you maximize this evening. You don't have another day to take the opportunity to either go have dinner somewhere, go visit, I don't know. To me, the best thing to see in Atlanta is the Atlanta Museum. It's that the Atlanta Aquarium. That aquarium is the most beautiful aquarium that I've ever seen in the world. It actually has whale sharks in the aquarium. So if you have an opportunity, that would be a great extra curricular activity. Okay. But again, you are done after 5:30 and you are on your own for dinner. Saturday morning, same thing, up and at 'em at 8 a.m. If you still have not registered, you will have an opportunity to register, but we start right away with our Saturday presentations. Saturday presentations will be judged by YKK executives. This is when they pick the winners. So your first dry run, which is on Friday with faculty, is just a dry run. We don't pick winners on that day. The winners will actually come out of Saturday morning, and it will be selected by the leadership of YKK.
But when you say dry run, we want you dressing on Friday professionally and presenting exactly as you're going to do the next day.
Exactly. You try to replicate it, improve it, of course, but you try to do, just pretend like going in Friday, just pretend like you're going to be, presenting to YKK. And then when the faculty give you advice, try to incorporate it, practice, and then just deliver it again, Saturday morning. So again, you guys have opportunities. So if you are on that first team, 9 to 10, 15, you guys can actually go to an AIB Southeast presentation at 10:30 if you want to. That agenda is already published in the conference website. So take a look and see if you do want to do another session with AIB Southeast. Okay, Saturday afternoon, after we go to lunch, right? We go to lunch. And then Saturday afternoon, we have the student debrief. This is where all of the judges and all of the YKK executives will talk about what you can improve, what was nice. You know, they're not announcing any winners that day, but this is just feedback on how you all did in presentations. At 2:45, we are going to have a certificate ceremony. So as you know, as a part of Global X Culture, when you do an on-ground thing, you also get a certificate of completion, okay? So, and you guys can use that for your resumes, because you guys know that becoming Global Virtual Team Certified in this new world order is really, really valuable. So make sure that you are highlighting that on your CVs and resumes. Okay, and then at 5 o'clock, starting at 5 o'clock, so you have from 4 to 5 o'clock to kind of get ready, get rested. And at 5 o'clock, the actual social hour and then the award gala begins. This is actually where the YKK executives will be announcing the winners, okay? And it's a very nice event. It's a gala event. So, of course, it's going to be, you know, food and entertainment. So make sure that you come ready for that. And then I think I'm going to put in another sheet there just so that you can take notes as you're going through the conference. So that's all I've got for the itinerary. That's the play-by-play. We are going to push this out to you. Raphael will be sending it to you so that you have it, and make sure you print it out so you can kind of study it before you arrive. Okay. Do we have any questions? Hello, anybody? No questions? Oh, let's see.
Well, we're waiting for some. I just saw something in the chat, but I don't know if that's an old comment. I'll just share. Oh, go ahead.
No, I think I see a question from Andre.
From Aria,
Sorry.
Andre Aria?
Yes.
Okay. Please, which transportation system, train, bus, or taxi, can we use to access the hotel or school if we are lodged in a hotel or Airbnb outside of the Spring Hill Suites? Okay, so there's a train system, pretty much like the train systems that you will find in Europe or in a lot of the cities. It's called MARTA, and it's MARTA. That's how you spell it. So go ahead and take a look at it. But that train system actually will pick you up, will take you from the airport to where the hotel is. And then remember that the only evening that you will need transportation inside the symposium agenda is the return from Georgia Tech to the hotel, which I was told 2 stops on the MARTA. Of course, you can always take Uber. And also on that night, that Friday night, if you want to go out with your friends, from what I understand, the MARTA also takes you to downtown Atlanta. I'm not from Atlanta. I don't use it. I know how to use it, but I don't use it regularly. So you would need to study up on it a little bit. So go ahead and make sure that you look at it online.
Just one thing with that question. Somebody said they're staying in Airbnb. Make sure you know where you're staying relative to the Spring Hill. Because if you're far away from there, it's going to be quite a trip via Uber, car, or even MARTA. So make sure you know how close or far away you are from where the main things are happening.
Yeah. So Kelly wants to know if she should bring her laptop, her computer to YKK. Now, it's up to you because you will have time on the bus to work. Just plan on being on that bus for up to 2 hours to get to, because that's what we're scheduled, right? We've scheduled to get to Macon, Georgia, 2 hours, and we scheduled back 2 hours coming back. Now, you can use that time to take a nap, or you can use that time to work with your team on your project. It's totally up to you. But just keep in mind that that is a high value item. I would not leave that on the bus. Make sure that you have a backpack that you can put it in, and so you can carry it around with you. Okay.
Can't carry it inside the factory. So if that's Kelly, my student, my advice would be not to take a laptop. If it was Kelly, another Kelly, it's either going to be on the bus or, well, they said they can lock phones up in the factory. I'm not sure how much space there is there. So I'd be really careful about taking a laptop with you.
Yeah. So maybe it's a good idea for you to take a nap because it's going to be a long day. You know,
Well, you're gonna have
will be jet lagged too.
Jessica's going to be with us both ways. So I would,
Oh,
I'd bring all your questions and talk to
oh
her. Get to know her.
yeah,
And you should talk to
definitely.
your teammates. I mean, I'd use that as a social thing, and that
Yeah.
even with folks from other parts of the country, other parts of the world that aren't on your team. So
And-
I would strongly advise you, don't bring a laptop. If you have a phone, turn it off. Talk to each other.
Yeah.
Be old school
So-
like me.
And Kelly wants to know, well, we need to bring anything to take notes. My dear, this little, oh, that's my grandson. Isn't he cute? But this actually, you can dictate your notes and everybody else can dictate their notes into it and you can share your notes with each other. So you'll have your laptop, or I'm sorry, you'll have your iPhone on the bus. That's when you can take your notes. But you may not have it while you're touring the YKK facility, because again, you're going to have a very, it's what they call, they want to protect themselves for industrial espionage. So, and one way that people do that is when they take pictures of facilities, right? So it's highly secretive, and they want to make sure that nothing goes out. So your phones will have to be locked up before you even go onto the facility floors, the factory floors. Is that enough? Was that good, Tim?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Next question. Frank Werner wants to know, for the presentation, are we supposed to bring our own laptops? Highly recommend that you do. Somebody in your team has to bring a laptop. Okay. Now, if you don't have one and 4 other of your team members have it, so maybe you won't need it. But to do your work, I mean, I can't do any of my professional work without my laptop, so I always have it with me.
Yeah,
But
Frank, yeah, I'm sorry. We don't know what the technology looks like at those rooms yet. So yes, I agree with Dr. Lampard. Bring your laptop. When Tracy and I get there on Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to try to find out what the rooms look like, what technology is there, and we'll let you know Thursday. But right now, we do not know.
Okay, so remember that the most hotels have safes, right? So make sure that if you're going to be leaving your laptop in your room, let's say on Thursday, put it in the safe. Okay, put your passports and that in there. And make sure that you take a picture of your passport, because you will be traveling with your passport. It's just that when we go to the factory, you have to lock up your phone. So, but don't travel around with your laptop or your passport and just leave it unattended. Okay, go ahead and lock that up in your safe. Okay, Andrea Turek, what if we are arriving a day earlier and leaving a day later than the dates that we are in the welcome letter? The days you occupied the Spring Hill Suite, should we book directly? Absolutely. Call the Spring Hill Suites, tell them that you are going with this conference, right? And you would like to book one day ahead of the conference and one day after the conference. That would be ideal, because then you're not, hotel hopping. And they're very affordable. And see if they can match the price that they did in the group. It doesn't hurt to ask. You guys are all business students. Turn on your business brain and ask them if you can, honor the price if you're coming early and leaving a day later. Professor Linden says, bring a small notebook, something to capture ideas. Yes, absolutely. Always have something to write. I never have anything to write on, and I always dread when I have something that I'm thinking of. That's why I'm always putting everything on my little phone.
And that's why I use Galaxy Note, and I can always take a note. Yeah.
I just can't. I am addicted to Apple products.
No, that's not addicted. That's there is technology for. Well, anyway, I don't want to get into the Apple versus PC discussion. Yes,
I'm curious to know about room arrangements for students. Like for myself, I'll just tell you, what I've learned over time when I go to conferences. I stay at the conference hotel if it's within the budget, because I just know that all transportation, they did it on purpose because of location and things like that. There has been times where I've traveled and I've been at an Airbnb or selected something else, and then you realize, transportation is a little bit more complicated, or the Uber is not going to be coming for you every 5 minutes because you're in a neighborhood, so you have to plan ahead. So those of you that are Ubering, even if you're in a surrounding area, you really will, I would recommend try to get to that hotel, target 8 o'clock. You'd rather be bored at the hotel than wondering,
Yes.
oh no, I thought the Uber was only going to take a half hour, but now no one's shown up yet. I don't want anybody being in a last minute problem like that.
And I always like to be on the conference facilities anyway, because this to me is a great networking opportunity for you. And a lot of the networking that's going to happen is during breakfast or meeting each other in the elevator or just passing each other, as you walk past. It really is the whole event, not just the time that you go to the conference, but the whole event is a networking opportunity.
So for thumbs up, maybe on the call, I'd like to know how many students have their travel arrangements already booked as far as the hotel room.
Oh boy. I think hotel rooms, the group rate anyway, are closed after today. I think today is the very last, might have been yesterday.
Kelly's got a room. That's good.
My apology for having to leave. My student is defending her doctoral dissertation, so an important thing. So
Okay.
It's,
Okay, Dr. Buss, I'll see you at 3 o'clock. Okay, please. You're gonna send the Zoom link, or you want me to send it? I'll send you. I'll send you a Zoom link for 3 o'clock. Okay. Have a good day.
I'll just send you as a
So Kelly also wants to know if there are malls and stores open on Atlanta on Sunday. Absolutely. It is a big city. And
it's the United States. It's open all the time, sometimes 24/7. It's not Europe where everything stops on weekends.
Yeah. Everything.